Amandla.
that I should go and pay the
Amandla.
and I was arrested.
Matla.
As I was coming.
Matla. Matimba. Matimba. Manda. Manda. All power. All power. Yes, comrades. I think we are very late with our program. Yeah, I do understand, Comrade Jack. We are late.
Well, I felt.
But you are also late because you are
that
part of the
conviction
collective.
Was inevitable.
Comrades,
Conducted my own trial, and
can we rise
my
up,
perception of the trial
all of us,
was that we
and
should
sing
turn the tables
our national
against the
anthem?
enemy.
Mandela refused to recognize the authority of the court, stating that as a black man in South Africa,
Oh,
there was
igqoko.
no possibility of justice coming from a white man.
Masikhumbuleni igqoko bengithi hayi
He was
njengamasoja
sentenced to
ngizayibamba
inciting
ngetension.
workers to strike and leaving the country illegally.
Can we have a good singer? Kubo mama bethu.
Despite outrage and major protests, the government introduced
Abekho abomama.
legislation in the form of the Sabotage Act and subsequent
Hayi comrades ngingaqali nge-defiance. Abomama ba.
in an attempt to destroy the liberation movements underground.
Malo phakameso pondolwayo izwa imithandazo yethu Nkosi sikelela thina luswapho lwayo Yelele Afrika Malo phakamesu pondolwayo izwa imithandazo yethu Nkosi sikelela thina luswapho lwayo Buluka setšhaba sa Yesu o fedise dintwa le matshwenye o zamoya o inwele Nkosi sikelela thina luswapho lwayo oza moya oza moya oza moya inwele Nkosi sikelela thina luswapho lwayo morena boloka setšhaba sa Yesu o fedise dintwa le matshwenyego morena boloka setšhaba sa Yesu o fedise dintwa le matshwenyego o se boloke o se boloke setšhaba sa Yesu setšhaba sa South Africa o se boloke o se boloke setšhaba sa Yesu setšhaba South Africa. Kubenjalo, makubenjalo, kusekube kunapa kati, kusekube kunapa kati. Makubenjalo, makubenjalo, kusekube kunapa kati, kusekube kunapa kati. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Comrades, as we are behind time, one is not going to make a welcoming and opening remarks. I'll quickly to rush the agenda. I would like the provincial chairperson of Gauteng, of Mkondo Wesizo, Comrade Bronson. Can you come and welcome us?
Hauthina sungene mzat Sibashaye ngebasuka sitika Ayakamthengisa usesiyongela Holy watango tuyaba awusesiyongela Holy watango awusesiyongela Hauthina sungene mzat Sibashaye ngebasuka sitika Hauthina sungene mza Sibasha Ebasuka sitia Bayamthengisa usesiyongela Holy watango tuwe ababa awusesiyongela Holy watango tuwe ababa awusesiyongela Hauthina sungene mza Sibashaye ngebasuka sitia Matio yo, atina sigo bata. Matio yo, atina sigo bata. Sebeteza ke agabafa. Agababa, iyo, katina sizobasha, sebeteza gemota baba, Amanda, all power, viva African National Congress, viva. Viva African National Congress, viva! Viva MKVA, viva! Viva MKVA, viva! Viva Communist Party of Hubedu Kankani, viva! Matla! All power! Program Director, without wasting any time, because we are aware that we have started late already, my mission is very simple. As a province that is hosting today's event, is to welcome everybody. But by looking at all of you, I could realize that you all slept well in Gauteng. Let us give the leadership a round of applause. So you are welcomed. If you want water, and you can realize the fridge in front of you. You don't have to ask, just go to the fridge and get water. Kusekaya la. Let me welcome the leadership present. Comrade Jesse Duat.
Amandla.
Yeah, let me welcome all NEC members of the African National Congress present here, all the ministers, MECs, the NEC of Mkondowe Sizwe, all provincial leadership of MKVA, and more especially Abaningazi Umsebenzi, which are the delegates. You are all welcomed. We hope today, as delegates forwarded by different regions, sub-regions, provinces, today we are here to ensure that we relook at the work that we have as a collectively done, and ensure that maybe we sharpen ourselves whereby maybe we're not doing well. But please, we are going to urge this gathering, this meeting, not to behave like a sergeant major on Monday. We know about sergeant major Banjani on Monday, comrades. Yeah. I remember one day, comrades, I ensured that the bungalow, the dwelling is cleaned. Every corner. It was on Monday. That time, Sergeant Major came in. At the end of the day, while I kusili, door trap door. He just decided to go there and lift that thing and get the dust. And come back and say, comrade, you didn't prepare yourself. This bungalow is dead. So we never thought that he will do the inspection at that side. So let us, this gathering, comrades, don't behave like a sergeant major on Mondays. Imishinetu is simple. We are representing Abantuba, the people that are not here. Masbuela Ekaya, we need to ensure that we take good news back to them. City comrades, Jengoban is 2 million. We have corrected. But we are also saying, comrades, if Lomkumbwe to Iavuza, no one must jump out. We must ensure that we continue sailing with this ship. We'll keep on using cups, smaller trays to take out the water out of this ship. But at the end of the day, we must not compromise on the main objective. We must cross this river as a collective. Ngalawa Magama, I want to say you are safe, Sekaya, you are welcomed. Let us engage robustly and ensure that we strengthen our association. Amanda!
Thank you very much, Comrade Bronson, the provincial chairperson of Mkondowe Sizwe, Military Veteran Association, Gauteng. Comrades, I think all of us, we've got the program. No program. This. Maybe still. Maybe. Yeah, print one. Okay, the program, they say it is coming, comrades. But what is? Yeah, I'm fire aspects here, check. Comrades, we've got guidelines and rules for the NGC. Now, because you don't have a program, I don't know if I have to go page by page. I'm asking the NGC. Comrades. Rules and regulations and procedures. Yes, comrade. Or we don't. Amanda, comrades, as you know, yesterday was an holiday. So we had problems in terms of printing all necessary documents. But that is not an excuse anyway. But I would like the NGC to acknowledge that. So the proposal I'm making is that can we allow Comrade Shelut to come forward and come and read for us all the rules and procedures of the NGC. Can we, comrades? Comrade Shelut. Thank you very much, comrades. Thank you very much, comrades. At least we must move in a fast pace. Comrade Shelut. Comrade Shaley. Yes.
Program Director Unombe Egolo
Yes.
from Gauteng. In terms of rules, when you are chairing a meeting, a conference, or in this instance, NGC, there was a hand and there was a move, and you did not answer to that, or you did not open it to the floor, because the previous speaker said he cannot allow the program director and the NGC to continue without the agenda, discussion documents, and all other things. And I didn't hear you taking it to the floor so that we decide on it. Now, you are instructing us, and that's not correct. I thank you.
I think.
Mandla, Matla. Comrades, conference has not started as yet. There's still a lot of discussions to happen. What Comrade Teenage is saying is that there has been a delay in terms of printing of documents. In the process of these discussions, the documents will be distributed. I don't think that is anything that can stop the NGC from proceeding with its work. So there's no discussion about whether or not we are starting conference, and we shouldn't discuss it. NGC is starting. The NGC is starting, comrade. What is going to happen, comrade, is that I'll just give you a sense of how the program stands. You need the copies of the program, comrades, but I'm going to give you a sense of how the program stands. Okay? This is the first session of the NGC, which normally, if all of us know the traditions of conferences of the ANC, is an open session where we are to receive a political speech by the guests that are invited here. It's an open session, right? Now, this open session, the welcome has been done by the provincial chair of Gauteng province. The national anthem has been sung. I am going to read through this program so that we adopt the program and the rules of the NGC. That should then be followed by the welcome address by MKVA provincial chair. I'm saying that one has been done. The welcome by the provincial chair of the Gauteng ANC province. Then from there we'll get the political report. After the political report, we'll get messages of support, and then the keynote address to the NGC. After that, there would be a speaker from the Military Veterans Department, and then we get into the closed session. At the closed session, we'll have a presentation of the ANC NGC discussion documents. After that, we'll have to adopt the credentials, get the organizational report from the the GS of MKVA, get the financial report, have nominations for the vacant positions and then elections for those vacant positions. At the end of those elections, day one closes. Tomorrow, comrades will be dealing with commissions. We'll announce in the morning the commissions and where the commissions would be held. And after that, we break into those commissions. The whole day, it will be commissions. Comrades will have to discuss the documents of the ANC NGC so that we know what our inputs are supposed to be in relation to that NGC. Then on Sunday is the report back. After report back at plenary, we'll then have the General Council declaration. From there, we'll have the closing address. These are the key aspects that relate to the program. If there is any particular issue that you did not get, you'll then indicate so that I give you clarity on that aspect. And after that, we'll then have to adopt the program. Now, the program is linked to the rules of the NGC, of which I am requested to go through now. Up to this stage, any concerns, any clarity-seeking question? All right. I'm proceeding, comrades, to give you an overview of how the guidelines and the rules of the NGC stands. MKVA holds its National General Council on the 24th to the 27th September 2015 in line with MKVA Constitution. The National Working Committee has adopted guidelines and rules and procedures that will ensure that the National General Council is run in accordance with the MKVA Constitution and the ANC Constitution. As per Section 12 of the MKVA Constitution, which states that the National Executive Committee shall convene a National General Council during the middle of their term, but not less than 18 months prior to the National Conference. The NEC will, after consultation with provincial executive committees, determine the composition of the National General Council. All decisions at the NGC shall be by show of hands unless otherwise decided by the council delegates. And the quorum shall be 50% plus one of the members of 5 provinces. The duties of the National General Council shall be to receive and discuss the reports of the NEC, assess and recommend policies and programs of MKVA, have the power to discuss any issue it deemed necessary, taking into account policies and directives of the National Conference. NGC shall fill vacancies that have arisen within the National Executive Committee, provided that such vacancies do not exceed 50% of the Executive Committee. Delegation. MKVA NEC, guided by the Constitution, size of the membership state of the structures of the association and logistical consideration, shall determine an upper limit of delegates, observers, guests, and staff for the National General Council. The final decision on who qualifies to be a delegate rests with the National Executive Committee. No substitutions will be entertained at the National General Council. All substitutions must be made on or before the stipulated times of the National General Council. Rules, regulations, and procedures. The rules, regulations, and procedures I shall read here. Constitutional amendment. As per the Constitution of MKVA adopted by the 4th National Conference in 2012, the National Conference is the highest decision-making body and the only structure vested with the power to amend the Constitution. Meaning which, in case there could be any need for the amendment of the Constitution, the National General Council can only make recommendation, and such amendment can only be adopted when we arrive at the next conference. The discussion documents we have before you are the ANC National General Council. Those are the documents that we're going to be distributing. But this document have particular emphasis that are placed on the balance of forces, the battle of ideas and communication, peace and stability, social and economic transformation, legislature and governance. We reiterate these positions with the assumption that all of you are members of the African National Congress at your own level. If not, most probably there could have been reasons, but otherwise branches of the African National Congress are discussing these documents. But as MKMVA today, we are going to be discussing these documents as well. The chairs already indicated the fact that we are running behind schedule, but otherwise the National Executive Committee has agreed that the following rules and procedures should apply to MKMVA National General Council. As it relates to time, the NGC will meet each day as set out in the NGC program, which I have read. The NGC will start at 9 and proceed as per program and plenary. Breakfast must start at 6 o'clock and end at 8:30 daily. Lunch and supper shall be as the program and plenary. Appointment of committees of MKMVA National General Council. For the efficient conduct of business, the National General Council will ratify by the show of hands the following committees, should there be a need. NGC Electoral Commission, the NGC Disciplinary Committee, and the Credentials Committee. Procedure at plenary. The normal rules of MKMVA meeting procedure will apply with the following additions. Only duly accredited participants or those agreed on by the verification process will be allowed into closed plenary and commission session. All delegates and observers will have the right to speak in plenary. All duly accredited participants will have the right to speak in commissions. The NGC chairperson will decide on the orders of the speakers, request, and shall ensure that there is a spread of speakers from various delegations. Delegates will be allowed to speak a maximum of 2 minutes in plenary and shall only speak once during the plenary. The NGC shall reduce or extend speaking periods. I repeat, the NGC chairperson shall reduce or extend speaking periods. Each speaker will stand at the microphone provided on the floor, if available, and state his name or her name and province before speaking. If the chairperson calls a speaker to order, the delegate will stop speaking and will not resume speaking until the chairperson has authorized him or her to continue. Failure to comply shall mean automatic dismissal from the NGC. On a point of order being raised, discussion shall be suspended to allow an intervention of no more than a minute, whereafter the chairperson shall give his or her ruling. Failure to comply with the ruling of the chairperson would also mean automatic dismissal from the NGC. All motions must be proposed and seconded before opened for discussion. An exigency motion must be submitted by the proposer and seconded before being debated with approval of 2/3 of delegate and NGC. We're making this proposal for procedural purposes, comrades. But we are aware that at times you'd find comrades wanting to make a point, but exploit the right to raise a point of order, even if where a matter is not a point of order. And as far as that is concerned, we would want comrades to apply their minds first and foremost before raising that the matter is a point of order, so that it can be dealt with as a point of order. The business of making sure that you call conference or NGC to order, it is because you believe that it is going to a different direction at all, and or conference is derailed. No business will be allowed to be discussed which does not arise out of the reports or motions before the NGC, unless agreed to by the council itself. No other points of intervention will be allowed except those provided for in the rules of the NGC. The mover of a motion or amendment shall be limited to 2 minutes. The seconder to 1 minute, and all speakers 1 minute. The mover of the motion shall close the debate. Voting in plenary will be by show of hands unless a secret ballot is called for and supported by 2/3 of these delegates. Questions in dispute not provided for in the present rules of procedures shall be settled by the NGC upon proposal from the delegates. The Code of Conduct. In addition to the normal rules of the MKMVA constitutions, failure to comply with the following additional rules will constitute a disciplinary offense. Delegates at the NGC are therefore expected to attend all sessions and commissions and to be punctual. It means provincial chairperson, provincial secretaries shall see to it that delegates from our general membership adhere to this very rule. Be punctual, be in attendance in the NGC at all times. Only delegates and all other participants with name tags shall be allowed into the NGC venue. I need something to blow my nose. Cell phones to be switched off or put on silent at all times during the proceeding of the NGC. No disruption shall be allowed during NGC proceedings. No firearms or traditional weapons shall be allowed into the NGC. Thanks, ma'am. No alcohol, recreational drugs, or drunken behavior shall be allowed into the NGC venue. And no smoking of illegal substance shall be allowed for the duration of NGC will be tolerated. Anyone found contravening this clause will be automatically disqualified from the NGC. Queries regarding logistical arrangements or other related issues should be done during breaks. Delegates must refrain from any behavior or action which would bring the ANC, MKMVA, or the NGC into disrepute. No one should distribute or display any material that is deemed to be divisive. Certain documents distributed at the NGC may be confidential, and delegates are not allowed to distribute such documents to persons that may not be entitled to them. No documents except the NGC documents will be distributed unless approved by the steering committee. Any acts of sexual harassment will definitely be punished. Delegates are expected to respect and obey the chairperson in all sessions and commissions. Delegates are to be disciplined and avoid unnecessary movement for the duration of the NGC. No one shall disobey instructions from the Electoral Commission, cast a vote to which they are not entitled, interfere with the voting process, or use unfair methods to influence voting. Canvassing and lobbying for support shall be conducted in a dignified manner, consistent with the character and traditions of the African National Congress. Slandering, negative campaigning, and character assassination is strictly forbidden. Anyone found guilty of such an offense shall, in addition to any other penalty which may be imposed by the National Disciplinary Committee, be disqualified from standing for any position in MKMVA. Any breach of discipline shall be reported to the steering committee, who shall bring violations to the attention of the National Disciplinary Committee. Section 24 of MKMVA Constitution shall serve as the disciplinary code of the National General Council. Nominations and electoral procedures. Positions to be elected. The following positions will be elected by NGC in line with Section 12 of the MKMVA Constitution. Treasurer General, and 3 positions into the National Executive Committee, meaning additional positions. The Electoral Commission. The following comrades have been appointed by MKMVA as members of the Electoral Commission in line with Rule 25 of the MKMVA Constitution. The Electoral Commission shall be reinforced by a representative appointed by a member appointed by each province delegation. Members of the Electoral Commission do not make themselves available for election. Nomination process. The nomination process is to take place at the National General Council or at a meeting of delegates through a process of nomination from the floor. Candidates nominated need nomination of 30% of delegates to qualify for elections in the NGC in line with the constitutional requirements. Throughout the process, each delegate is entitled to nominate one person for the position of treasurer to fill the vacant in the NEC position. All nominations should be informed by thorough discussions of the challenges we face as MKMVA and the quality of leadership we need. Generally, structures should be using through the eye of the needle as a guide for these discussions. For the nomination of Treasurer General, the following process should be followed. The delegates should then be allowed to cast a vote by show of hands or secret ballots and choose the candidate for the position. Should the delegation wish to add a name to any ballot, it may be done if 30% of the delegates support the name nominated for the position. That, comrades, brings us to the end of the rules of the NGC. And I am going to hand over to the chairperson to proceed with the general discussion. Comrades, the Deputy President has arrived. Can we all rise to welcome him, please? Ingom.
Amandla, comrades, rules and procedures, code of conduct of the NGC have been read. So I'll open for clarity seeking questions, and so on. Comrade Steve. There is a mover. You don't hear.
Thank you very much. Comrade Chair, my name is Steve Nkebe. I'm from Bukoni Bupirima, Moses Kotane Province. I move for the adoption of the rules and code of conduct as presented.
There is a mover, comrade. Any second or objection?
Profits. Gisukuma nokusekela ama rules ale NGC. Mhlawumbe ngiphinde kahle ezozwa nozakwethu unobhala uphaka KZN Chairperson Themba Mavundla is seconding the motion raised in terms of the rules and the regulations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Any objection?
Chairperson, mine or
Name and
Pumlani Esther Elomkondo from Eastern Cape Province. The clarity. The last page, nominations and electoral procedure, nomination process. Second paragraph. I need clarity when Parkland, our 80 candidates nominated, need nomination of 30%, Kwatwa in brackets, 25% of delegates. Then, again, comrade, the last line, he said 30% again, instead of the 25%, which is returned. So now I need to know which is which. Is it 25% or 30%? Because the constitution of MKVA says 25%. So I'd like to clarity on that one. Thank you.
thank you very much. It's 25%. Yes, 25%. Yeah, that's why there's a lot of. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much, Program Director. My name is Tandi Lomkondo Wesizwe Uvuyiswa Dieta Elalaikai. Comrade Chair, your guidelines are silent in terms of the gender representation. And if you talk in line with the NC Constitution and as well as the MKVA Constitution, it talks about 30% women representation. But then when you talk on your guidelines in terms of the nominations, you are not saying anything about the gender representation. Thank you.
Quickly to respond to that one. Yes, of course, I think it was not printed here.
Comrades, in our constitution, we don't have the gender representation. However, this is part of the things that we want to discuss in the NGC, to present in our next conference that gender representation should be included in our constitution. However, when we send out the guidelines to the provinces, we said 30% of the delegates from each province should be women. We also invited 20 women from all the provinces. So we think, for a start, we are doing well so far. So in our constitution, it's silent. It does not speak about the gender representation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. In the absence of any hands, I want to rush the program. We'll call Comrade Paul, the provincial chairperson of the African National Congress in Gauteng. Comrade Paul. Sure.
Our province and other provinces this side are not participating in the discussion because we don't have any documents. We can't participate. So it becomes unfair for a conference to take a decision where the other part of the conference doesn't have anything to relate to. So I was asking that, can you please receive our documents to be able to participate as equal in this conference? Thank you.
Comrades, we agreed from the beginning that programs are printed, and then when we are going on, they will be coming.
People are referring to what you have said. Yet, on us, what we have read have come in here and go through there. We don't follow the procedures. So we want to comment on what is on the paper, not only on what you elaborated upon, because it disadvantages us now. We may go too wrong, and we may adopt what is not into our position. So we'd like to have the documents to be able to participate as equal, whether we got 10 or what. But as a province, we can't sit without a document, whereas there are provinces which are participating with documents in their hands. So I would like you to be very fair on that position.
Okay. We still insist, comrades, we are going to make documents available to all of you. What I heard is not an objection to the adoption of the rules. That is what we were requested. Maybe an omission on the side of the chair was to declare that the rules, the program and the rules of conference are adopted, because there was no objection. So that logistical problem is what we are going to deal with in the process. But at the moment, comrades, I think we must all of us welcome Comrade Paul Mashatile on stage at this point in time. Thank you very much.
Matla. All power. Sorry, comrades, to cut you short. We need to recover time lost. Deputy President of the ANC, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, DSG, Comrade Jesse Duarte, and all members of the National Executive Committee here present, Chairperson of MKVA, Comrade KB Mapatswe, and the NEC members of MKVA, leaders of MKVA from all provinces, leaders of the Alliance, ministers, MPs, members of the media, comrades and friends. 54 years ago, in the wake of the Sharpeville massacre, the People's Army Umkhonto Wesizwe, MK, was born. Its founding represented the conviction in the face of the massacre that the ANC could no longer limit itself to non-violent protests,
And MK's mission was to fight against apartheid and its surrogate forces for the liberation of our people and our country. Subsequent to our forebears having warned the fascist regime in June 1961 of the ANC's intent to resist further acts of terror if the regime did not take practical steps to opening political space. MK launched its first attacks against state installation on the 16th of December 1961. Comrade delegates, the decision to form Umkhonto weSizwe was not taken lightly, but was made after what the leadership of the ANC at the time characterized as a period of introspection and reflection. It was at a time when our people had only two choices, either to surrender or fight. And they chose to die fighting for the liberation rather than live in bondage. To quote the late President of the ANC, Comrade Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, on the motivation to establish Umkhonto weSizwe, he said the following, and I quote, "At the beginning of June 1961, after a long and anxious assessment of the South African situation, I and some colleagues came to the conclusion that as violence in this country was inevitable, it would be unrealistic and wrong for African leaders to continue preaching peace and non-violence at a time when the government met our peaceful demands with force." This conclusion was not easily arrived at. It was only when all else had failed, when all channels of peaceful protests had been barred to us, that the decision was made to embark on violent forms of political struggle and to form Umkhonto weSizwe. We did so because we desired such a course, but solely because the government had left us with no other choice. Close quote. Comrade delegates, it is common cause that since that fateful day, combatants of the glorious People's Army have waged fearless battles against the racist, violent, and tyrannical regime to free our country from colonialism, apartheid, sexism, and exploitation, and to build a national democratic society where there is freedom, democracy, and equality. Brave men and women left our country to train militarily in order to take up arms in pursuance of a just cause. The contribution of Umkhonto weSizwe combatants to our liberation is nothing short of legendary, and we remain eternally indebted to their sacrifices and selflessness. Today, our country is celebrating 21 years of freedom and democracy, and this can in no small measure be attributed to the gallantry, fearlessness, bravery, and love for their people and their country. Comrades, we are proud of the rich legacy that our forebears and you, the combatants of Umkhonto weSizwe, have left for posterity. As we deliberate during this National General Council, let us spare a thought for those who came before us and sacrificed their life and limb for us to enjoy the freedom and democracy in our country today. Compatriots, since the democratic breakthrough in our country in 1994, the ANC has been hard at work in creating a better life for all our people. Presently, more people have access to clean potable water as compared to 21 years ago. Even more people have been connected to national electricity grid and our people exercise their right to choose a government of their choice. We declare without fear of contradiction that our country is a better place compared to what it was before 1994. And we are continuing our forward march to improve the lot of our people, military veterans included. I am aware, comrades, that there are initiatives from various parts of our government, including here in Gauteng, to alleviate the dire situation that some of our military veterans are still facing. The Office of the Premier in Gauteng is establishing a directorate for military veterans. And a number of engagements are ongoing between the Office of the Premier and the representatives of military veterans to ensure that the directorate is adequately resourced to meet the needs of military veterans in the province. In addition, provision of decent houses is being prioritized as one of the key elements of this initiative that our provincial government is embarking on. During this financial year, 330 houses that are presently being built will be allocated to military veterans across the province. These houses will include built-in cupboards, and will be tiled. And as a result of a partnership between our Provincial Department of Human Resources and Department of Military Veterans, who top up their subsidy with about 70,000 to ensure that these houses are even more habitable. Compatriots, there's said significant progress in terms of restoring the dignity of our people, ensuring that our people become the architects of their destiny, and creating a better life for all our people, notwithstanding much more work still needs to be done. The triple challenges of poverty, joblessness, and inequality are still with us, and in honor of those, including our military veterans, who sacrificed for this freedom that we are enjoying today, we cannot but rededicate ourselves to the struggle to surmount these challenges. We have to redouble our efforts to not only ensure that military veterans have a roof above their heads, but that they are in a position to access the myriad of economic and other opportunities that are made possible by the freedom that they selflessly contributed in achieving. Comrade delegates, our movement is also facing serious challenges from internal and external forces bent on destroying and annihilating it. Ill discipline in the form of gatekeeping, vote buying and rigging, factionalism, and the use of money to influence conference outcome are abound. Strange phenomena that includes the formalization of or institutionalization of factions have taken root, and as disciplined cadres of the ANC, we cannot afford to stand idle when these strange developments are tearing our movement apart. We need to respond, and our response in defense of our movement and our heritage has to be guided by our revolutionary conscience and our time-tested approaches. One of the most potent responses is the unity and cohesion of the ANC, whilst also engaging in rigorous political programs to raise the consciousness of our ANC members. I'm happy that Comrade Natim Tetwa is here as the leader of our political education. We need to increase the education, political education of all our members across the country. who is better placed to lead this charge than you, comrade commissars, commanders and commissars of Umkhonto weSizwe. Hence, our clarion call today is that MKMVA members must continue playing their historical role in engaging in political education and robust political engagement to influence public discourse while setting a progressive agenda and sharpening the political consciousness of all our cadres. The need to unite behind a common vision whilst building and strengthening our structures cannot be overemphasized. We have to build vibrant structures of the ANC that withstand being captured for nefarious selfish agendas. Let MKMVA members continue to play an active role in the ANC structures, as these are structures that must lead our ongoing efforts to build a united, socially cohesive nation, radically transform our economy, and provide peace and harmony. For us to be able to achieve this, we need to share a common vision that ensures that we are preoccupied with implementing programs that change the lives of our people for the better, rather than pursuing strange agendas that promote personal cults, divide the movement, and advancing selfish personal interests at the expense of our people. Comrade delegates, the ANC is and will be facing what promises to be a hotly contested election in a few months to come. We need every cadre to play a role in delivering a convincing victory. We will be relying once again on MKMVA to be part of our election campaign, because with you, comrades, we know that victory is certain. Delegates to this NGC must therefore ensure that as much as you will be preoccupied mainly with policy deliberations, we should not take radically transform our society. We should nevertheless not lose sight of the upcoming local government elections. Let us be part of the ANC drive to win all municipalities in the country. Here in Gauteng, comrades, as you know, we want to win all municipalities, including Midvaal. You know Midvaal is controlled by the DA. We want it back. I know they say they want to take Tshwane, but you are here, comrades. That will never happen. The office of comrades. So I was saying, comrades, that let us prepare for the election campaign. Let us not wait for 2016. I know that many people think it's still far away. No, it's not far away. It's here with us. So we must say loudly that my hlome. Comrade delegates, as I conclude, I want on behalf of the leadership and members of the ANC in Gauteng, welcome all of you to the smart province of Gauteng. Those in particular who come from afar, please know that you are at home. May you have robust, insightful, and enlightening deliberations. Once again, my hlome, amandla, matla, hi hule ANC, hi hule, hi hule ANC, hi hule, pata ANC, pata, pata msholozi, pata, matla. Thank you very much, comrades.
Matela gufa, magolewe matela we, magolewe matela gufa, Iyoawe makawe.
Iyoawe
matela kufa.
Asiltate makawe. Asiltate matela kufa.
Iyoawe makawe.
Iyoawe matela kufa. Haguliwe makawe. Haguliwe matela kufa.
Iyoawe makawe.
Iyoawe matela.
Amandla. Yes, comrade. Umoralo high, but isikhathi sishile. Isikhathi sishile sazama ukuthi siqhobele ngcola igijime. The national chairperson of Mkondo Wesizwe, Comrade KB Mapaso, can you come to the stage to give us a political report?
Silindele yena, amata hambu silinda mukirina. Sina silindele yena, amata hambu silinda mukirina. Umuntu ngamunye, uzowama apeti pasuka. Amunye, amuwamba apeti pasuka. Sina abatambu silindele pasuka. Abatambu silindele pasuka. Amandla. Amandla. Tamba ngale nale Lomas bonasinje angale ngale Lomas bon
Ayuta wangale Lomas bonasinje angale
le Lomas bon
Ayuhana ngale Lomas bonasinje Ayuhana ngale Hewas bona sinje ngale
no mas bon
Ayuslo ngale Hewas bona sinje ngale
no mas bon
Ayuslo
Matan all power. Long live the African National Congress, long live. Long live the South African Communist Party, long live. Long live COSATU, long live. Long live the ANC Youth League, long live. Long live the ANC Women's League, long live. Long live COSAS, long live. Long live SASCO, long live. Long live MKVA, long live. Long live MKVA, long live. Long live the spirit of Shaka, long live. Long live the spirit of Mushwesho, long live. Long live the spirit of Sikukuni, long live. Program Director, the Deputy President of the ANC and the Republic, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Jesse Duarte, members of the NEC of the ANC present here, officials of MKMVA and NEC members of MKMVA, the chairperson of the ANC in Gauteng, Comrade Paul Mashatile, the Lutuli detachment present here today. We have got 23, if I'm correct, the Lutuli detachment present here today. We
also have the June 16 detachment. I'm told we're supposed to have 20 here. They are all supposed to present here today. Ministers present here. Comrades, delegates. Comrades, we meet at this Umkhonto we Sizwe Military Veterans Association's National General Council to review our work since you elected us just about over 2 years ago. We have assembled to review our midterm work and to also, as a matter of necessity, to discuss in a manner that would assist us to make an informed and essentially critical contribution to the African National Congress forthcoming National General Council. We have come together as veterans of the glorious people's former army, Umkhonto we Sizwe, on whose shoulders the ANC survived about 30 years as a banned underground organization. Therefore, as veterans of the heroic People's Army, members of the ANC, our communities and the society, during this period of complex challenges facing the people, expect us to rise as the courageous voice of reason. In us, many in our society have pinned their hopes. Many have put upon us the responsibility of guiding our movement to lead the society. We dare not fail. We must concede that conferences, as the constitutionalized democratic platforms of the members of the movement to select leadership, also do carry with them the possibility of dividing the movement. This is because our leadership preferences are often not the same. These different preferences are sometimes taken too far and lead to a too deep chasm between members of the National Liberation Movement. Often this leads to the solidification of groupings, which makes it easier for us to miss the point of our common strategic objective and mistakenly use our grouping's majority or minority positions to develop agenda that serve the objectives of our insecurities rather than that of fearlessly leading the society on the basis of our revolutionary convictions. When this conference leadership selection preferences are deepened to divide us, our unity is weakened and gives way to factions. The consolidation of factions leads to their institutionalization and the beginning of a failed movement. Ours, the ANC, dare not fail. Factions lead to the loss of our common strategic objective and savage the movement from the inside. They drive us to forget that unity is of the utmost importance. Factions are the result of systematic erosion of our principles and discipline, leading to the creation of divisions amongst us. They are born from ideological differences, provincial, regional, and the cruel tribalization of our perspective. This is contrary to the main principle of unity which characterized the founding of the ANC. This seeks to replace our revolutionary values and put in their stead an alien subculture of divisions. During that process, malicious rumor replaces facts, anarchy takes the place of revolutionary discipline, and divisions take over the sacred place of unity. Petty jealousies become the driver of our pseudo-objectives. Slander and cruel malice attempts to take the center stage of our activities. We cannot allow this state of affairs to self-perpetuate. We must endeavor to stop it before it stops the unfolding of our revolution. We must at all times remember that our strategic objective of unity does not mean uniting against each other, and it does not stand for allowing wedge drivers to move amongst us concealed by the unity of factions. We must acknowledge that our unity must be characterized by our stand against injustice, and it means fighting against the triple scourge of poverty, unemployment, and inequalities. We must resolve that our unity seeks to unite MKMVA, to unite the ANC and the broad liberation movement, and our unity means to unite the people of South Africa behind the African National Congress in the struggle to attain, in practicality and essence, a society based and thriving on the reality of a democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic and prosperous South Africa. Our unity is our most potent, time-tested weapons against any danger facing our society and our revolution. We dare not squander our unity. As members of MKMVA and cadres of the National Liberation Movement, history has imposed on our being and existence the responsibility to ensure that the ANC legacy lives on. It has put firmly on our shoulders the prerogative to pass on the revolutionary principles of the ANC, its organizational discipline, revolutionary values, and greater need for ethical leadership in order to lead the society. We have the historical responsibility to anticipate change, guide and actually participate in the mobilization and organization of the society to achieve the strategic objective of the deepening of democracy, non-racialism, social cohesion and prosperity for the whole society. While in the past we were in the forefront of the coalface of the militant implementation of the 4 pillars of the revolution against racist apartheid oppression, today we must be the firm leading guides to the immense task of resolving the inhumane scourge of cruel poverty, disempowering joblessness, and hideous inequalities in our society. History has presented this immense task before us as cadres of the National Liberation Movement, because as the late Isithalwanwe Saparankwe, Walter Sisulu would say, and I quote, "Problems arise when their resolutions exist," close quotes. We could interpret this as an instruction that we are veterans in this age because there are these challenges which must be resolved. We have to accept this challenge and see it as our historical mission to serve the purpose of our cause. Our ANC cannot die. We have a historical mission, a responsibility to discuss our movement frankly, debate the policies of our country rigorously, and leading in the search for our alternative choices to resolve the issues of the people while establishing the greater unity of our movement. In the face of the gigantic challenges, knowledge of our social reality, criticism and self-criticism based on the important need to deepen the roots of unity is of utmost importance. Comrades, in our midterm review, we need to also look at the resolution we took at our national conference just more than 2.5 years ago. This is because resolutions are self-formulated and self-enjoined tasks. Now, when we give ourselves tasks, we need to ensure that we achieve those tasks to show our seriousness as an organization. Among our resolutions as tasks that we gave ourselves are the 5 battle orders we were given by the Patron-in-Chief of MKMVA, the President of the ANC, and the President of the Republic, here in this place, Comrade President Jacob Zuma. We need to reflect on those battle orders and establish whether we have achieved them and how far we have gone to attain them. We must assess ourselves frankly to get a proper picture of where we are and how do we still have to go. The 5 battle orders of the presidents are the following. I would remind comrades. He said, 1, is MKMVA structured in such a way to play the historic role to unite and provide political education across all structures of the movement. 2, is MKMVA organized in such a way as to provide values of volunteerism and selflessness? 3, is MKMVA ready to defend the black, green, and gold? 4, is MKMVA constitution, policies, and programs appropriate to take it to the higher ground? Lastly, 5, can MKMVA rise to be the voice of reason in this hour of need? Comrades, these battle orders define what is expected of us and give direction to what we should do to ensure that the revolution is not endangered. In addition to this, we resolved to sponsor a motion at the ANC National Conference to facilitate the exhumation, repatriation, and reburial of those of our comrades whose remains were left behind in exile. In this task, we succeeded as the Conference of Mangaung adopted our motion. So far, we have seen various provinces and municipalities assisting families to carry out this noble task. But we must applaud the Eastern Cape Province for leading the pack in this regard. It has formulated and adopted a policy which is going to systematize this important task which families of our comrades as spiritual people have always been requesting us to undertake. But I must say, comrades, at the ANC level and government level, the Department of Arts and Culture, which is led by Comrade Nati present here, I know that he once called me to a meeting. There is an interministerial committee established, if I'm correct, Comrade Nati. So there is something that the province is doing. When we are in Maputo, Comrade Nati, Comrade Pemi Machotina was saying she is going to Angola. And I said, whoa, stop it. You are going to create crisis for us. You can do this frontline states, but going to Angola, it's a problem, Deputy President. What is happening, Comrade Nati, in these reburials that we are attending, many parents attend these reburials. And these are old people. And they always say to us, comrades, you know, if you can show us the graves of our children, we will rest in peace. I like to say this thing because sometimes it touches me. There's one woman, old woman, who came to the office at Lituli House. And she said to me, my child, I have raised money through my pensions, income, to buy the flight ticket to Angola. What I need from you is just to show me the grave. I don't sleep at night. He always comes to me and say, Mama, why have you left me behind? We hope other provinces will also answer this call and enable families of our comrades who passed on in exile to find closure in burying their children according to their own traditions. Comrades, this task is sensitive and closest to the hearts of our people, given our cultural beliefs. On this aspect, we need to thank the government officials and our comrades who have been very involved in working together in the Missing Person Task Team of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. They have went out to put an extra effort in ensuring that the painstaking work of identifying families, convincing them to provide the much-needed DNA samples to help match the remains found in unmarked paupers' graves. This work is traumatic to both families members and those who are involved in tracing them, the graves, and working on matching the DNA. We must, at this point, thank them for being selfless in availing themselves in this important yet traumatic task. We wish to thank from the bottom of our hearts the following comrades from MKMVA: Comrades Billy Mutseleng, Comrade John Mailani, Comrade Ambrose Ndlovu, Comrade Thandi Mashwala, Comrade Brian Ndlovu, Comrade Judy Maobani, and Madeleine Fullard. Comrades, we also resolved in our Bearshoot conference in 2012 to pay special attention to the issue of women in MKMVA. To that extent, we have established a women desk led by Comrade Agnes and Comrade Shirley Brown, whose combat name or real name is Mabel Khwakana. We have so far realized that there is a rift that needs to be healed between different detachments of our female comrades. This detachment's variation is leading to a situation whereby those who want to sow division within the organization enlarge on this. We would like to call on our female comrades to unite regardless of their detachments, and yes, in MK and in exile. The strength and activism of MKMVA should also be enhanced by the united participation of Umbogoto, regardless of when they went to exile. We must all assist in a consistent, coordinated, and honest manner to ensure that the unity of our female comrades does have a very positive impact on the overall organization of MKMVA. We must be exemplary in uniting women and acknowledging their capacity to lead without our male and other outside interference. Their ability to lead should be acknowledged such that we accept the obvious that women, especially in MKMVA, have an equal ability to lead MKMVA, including the ANC. We need unity in our organization, and we need it like oxygen. Without unity, we are nothing, and as nothing, there is nothing that we can achieve. We must never forget in all our activities that the ANC was found on the bedrock of unity, and it was the overarching task of MK to ensure that unity of our people was uppermost in our political and military activities. The strategic objective of unity is still the most important basis upon which we seek to assist the ANC to lead the society. Our understanding of the importance of unity within our ranks would compel us to appreciate that for united ANC to lead the society, it must unite itself with a society that it is united. Failure to do that would render our ANC socially distant from those it is meant to lead and make it irrelevant. As members of MKMVA, we cannot allow that. Unity is our beacon, but we must not only call for unity, we must be exemplary. Comrades, as an association, we are not meant to only play a political role in the national liberation movement, but we are also, as a matter of critical importance, have the responsibility of addressing the socio-economic issues of military veterans. In a society when there is war, society is relegated to the periphery. No, I say again. In any society, when the war is over, soldiers are returned to the barracks and their importance in the society is relegated to the periphery. This is because war is an uncomfortable reality. It is ideally fought far from the eyes of communities, and its consequences are best forgotten when it is over. However, some of the consequences that are forgotten are human beings who were important in the conduct of that war. This reality is unfortunately characteristic of our current situation, but we have turned that situation around. As you know, comrades, we have the Department of Military Veterans, which is a stand-alone department alongside the Department of Defense. You'd remember that in 2007, comrades, we were in Polokwane and lobbied the delegates in Polokwane to support us that we must have a Ministry of Military Veterans. When we came back, the ANC reconfigured the Department of Defense to the Department of Defense and Military Veterans. Like it likes to say, half a loaf is better than nothing. So it is our own achievement, comrade, that we have now a Department of Military Veterans where some of us are deployed. The Department of Military Veterans is our own creation. This department has had numerous challenges which we are dealing with. It is indeed true that it faced administrative and financial administrative hurdles which made it to receive a disclaimer. However, we may report right here that regardless of those challenges, it has outperformed itself in certain aspects. We have to applaud its education support program, although it has got challenges of paying. But it has moved from offering only about 645 grants in the 2014-2015 financial years to increasing that offering to 3,677 beneficiaries during the 2015-2016 financial year. This number represents the total education support of beneficiaries currently, of which 173 are military veterans. So it tells that some military veterans are taking education very serious and want to encourage our comrades to do that. This means that our call to make education fashionable has indeed resonated well with military veterans and their offsprings. Let us follow up with more military veterans and their beneficiaries utilizing this program and making an effective contribution to the efforts to grow our economy. The DMV has a housing program which had stalled because of inadequate understanding of the process for addressing the housing needs of military veterans. We have so far resolved that the department responsible for housing, which is human settlement, is best suited to provide housing for military veterans. Therefore, DMV is working closely with the Department of Human Settlements to resolve the issue of housing for military veterans. We must also report that regardless of these hurdles, there are provinces which have decided to go ahead with the provision of housing for military veterans. Among these, we can count the Free State and Comrade Deputy President. In the Free State, we will be opening up those houses for military veterans next month. Those houses, comrades, they are far different from the one that are provided by the Department of Human Settlement. And I was told by one consultant that that house, I'm not saying that guerrillas from the Free State, you must do that. That if you go and sell it in the market price presently, it will cost plus minus 500 to 600,000. In the Eastern Cape province, we are confident that during this current financial year, through our partnership with the Department of Human Settlement, we shall be able to release a total of 200 houses to the beneficiaries. On Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we will be in Lukanje, in the Eastern Cape. The program of economic and business support is fraught with challenges, precisely because business is a sector that needs personal interest and commitment. It also needs a level of training that must fit into a particular identified interest. We have sought with a measure of success to partner with the Department of Trade and Industry to ensure that comrades cooperatives are registered to set them on a process of benefiting from various offerings in that regard. However, we are in doubt as to the effectiveness of the training received and volumes done. We may say regarding this program, we need to intensify work and ensure that military veterans who are able and willing to go into business are reached and effectively assisted. but we must emphasize the launch and success of a business is largely dependent on the capacity, ability, resilience, and commitment of an individual. On health and wellness, the DMV has facilitated access for 14,395 individuals from various military veterans communities up to date. This is regardless of the fact that the planned intake was pegged at 8,000 for the whole 2015-2016 financial year. This just goes to show that with a better departmental structure, better management, and adequate personnel and resources, the DMV can do more in areas that are critical to the health and wellness of military veterans. On the burial support, the department has so far spent 4.7 million to give support to 256 military veterans so far. Yeah. This figure includes military veterans from all associations. Comrades, we are faced with an opportunity to better streamline the benefits of military veterans and ensure that our spouses and children in a manner benefit from our efforts and sacrifices and our contribution to bring about democracy in our country. Soon we will be starting the process to amend the Military Veterans Act 18 of 2011 and the Special Pensions Act. It is important that we participate in this process to ensure that our views, wishes, and needs are addressed adequately when these are finally amended. An example, Comrade Deputy President. In the Military Veterans Act 18 of 2011, if I can get involved in an accident with my family, the military hospital is only going to accept me, not my dependents. Even presently now, if I get assistance in hospital, my dependent does not get that. So it does not assist also to solve our problems. I like to raise this thing, and our comrades, sometimes we must talk about it. The issue of HIV and AIDS, which the stats are saying that most of the cause of our death of our comrades is HIV and AIDS. So if we have proper health management, we can be able to reverse the scourge of HIV and AIDS. We can live longer. But sometimes our comrades do not talk about these things. They sit up until they die. So we call upon comrades that there are facilities at one military hospital, in other hospitals, and we know that in other provinces there are no such facilities. However, as a department, we have partnered with another health service provider, which allows our comrades to go to the general practitioners. We were dealing with Comrade Jesse from the Western Cape, the old cadre, to be transferred to one military hospital. Yes, Comrade Naidu, during the week. So it says if we can have a proper system that allows our comrades to go to private hospitals, it can assist us, because we have a comrade from Mtubatuba, Umgungundlovu, who cannot go to Durban. So we want to bring the services next to our military veterans. And Comrade Jesse said is going to support us, comrades, that as we speak about health and wellness center, we must lobby very strongly, because it will assist our old comrades who are here, especially the Lutuli detachment. Comrades, we may also announce that military veterans has been gazetted as a designated group, meaning they stand to have special status when tendering for any government business in all the three spheres of government. We stand to thank Ms. Lizette Liner, who as the business development consultant for SANVA achieved this status on behalf of military veterans. As MKVA, we have been seized with the work of facilitating the preservation of our legacy. Comrade Rapiti Munsu, who was recently co-opted into the NEC of MKVA, has been very instrumental in a very successful in this regard. Before the DP and the officials leave Rapiti, I want you to show them what we will be doing in December. On the 15th of December, we'll be launching the MK Awards. Why we came with this MK Awards, comrades, that we were complaining that government is not honoring our comrades. We met with the president and he said, comrades, it is going to take long for all of you to be honored. Why can't you as MKMVA organize yourself and have your own MK Awards and medals? I will come and preside over them. So we have done that, comrades. After the president have spoken, Comrade Rapiti, you must show the delegates here what type of medals and awards will be given to our comrades. And they will be named after our heroes and heroines. Comrades, to confront our challenges and emerge victorious in both our political and socio-economic mandates, we must understand the environment that we operate within. We have to appreciate the context of our social reality and put ourselves at a better position to know what it is that we can change and what is that we cannot at this point in time to alter. During our discussions in our commissions, we'll have to confront this reality in the eye and establish how our domestic dynamics and the international environment collude independent of our wish and will to constrain or offer opportunities for our country to forge forward in the march to rid our society of the triple challenges of poverty, joblessness, and inequalities. Comrades, we cannot fail, and we must not fail. Amandla!
Sebetu tunywele ngubane Sebetu tunywele ngubane na ama Sebetu tunywele ngubane Sebetu tunywele ngubane na ama Utulu tunywele ngubane Utulu tunywele ngobane na ama Utulu tunywele ngobane Utulu tunywele ngobane na Utulu tunywele ngobane Utulu tunywele ngobane na Sebetu tunywele ngobane
Mandla, comrades, I would strongly discourage you from leaving the wall. I see a lot of movement going out there. So, comrades at the door there, I am going to ask you from now, the exit door must be closed and open as wide as possible, the entrance. And some provincial chairs and provincial secretaries, I'm going to request you to see to it that the comrades that have gone out comes back, because we are not yet done and you're going to miss out. Fagin Goma ngisafuna consulta no chairperson kancane. Okay, ibambe because uzozangayo, because it is appropriate. it is appropriate in a sense that it is time that we must get an important speech for this occasion. And that is the speech that is going to be delivered by the Deputy President of the African National Congress and the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa. I think we are so honored that I think we are going to get a hot revolutionary song to invite you on stage, Comrade DP. No, ningayilweli, qale kahle. Mandla. Chairperson, in the process of consultation, says to me, so I have to apologize that when you are a section commissar, you don't necessarily have to take the responsibility of the company commissar. You must make sure that you respect protocol. So before backgrounded in Ibonjwa, chairperson, please rectify the situation straight away. And that is to say to NGC, my apologies. I'm going to invite Comrade Paul Mashatile to invite the Deputy President to speak to the NGC. Comrade Paul.
Mandla, sizayiphinda futhi when he stands up, right? I was talking to the Deputy President and I said I'm going to be very brief. And he was saying, I don't know why you introduced me because they know me. So I was just going to say to you, Deputy President of the ANC, but I'll say just a few things, because you'll recall that President Mandela once told us a story that Nasi Nyambos is laughing. He told us a story that he was at this place and there were these women who came to him and said to him, "How are you?" And then he greeted them, "I'm very well." And they all greeted him very nicely. And he said, as he was about to leave, one of them said, "By the way, who are you?" So he said, we must never take it for granted that we are known DP. I don't want the soldiers to say, but can you ubani leandot? Comrades, just briefly, Comrade Cyril, known to most of us, lawyer by profession and a trade unionist. Those of you recall that he was actually the General Secretary of NUM. And in that period also played a lot of important roles in the United Democratic Front. Later elected by many of us as the SG of the ANC. I think that was in Durban, 1991. Maybe some of you are still outside the country, struggling to come back. 1991, Durban. From there, comrades, even when he was not in the top 6, Comrade Cyril remained active in the NEC. He never said, no, I'm no longer SG. He remained active in the NEC until he was once again elected by many of us as the Deputy President of the ANC. Lastly, he also did a very important job that we all remember. He was the chairperson of the Constitutional Assembly. So in a sense, he's an architect of our new constitution. Comrade Deputy President, talk to us.
Mandla! Viva ANC, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva SACP, viva! Viva Women's League, viva! Viva Youth League, viva! Viva MKVA, viva! Comrades, it's a real joy and pleasure to be amongst you. I greet the leadership of MKVA, Comrade Kevin Patswe, and the various comrades who serve with you in the leadership of MKVA. I also grieve the former combatants of our glorious army, Mkhonto Wesizwe. I take off my hat to the members of the Lutuli detachment who are here, and with deep respect, I greet you. I greet also the members of the June 16 detachment who are here. I also recognize and greet members of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress who are with us, the leadership of the ANC Women's League and the leadership of the ANC Youth League, and the leaders of our alliance partners, distinguished delegates, and comrades and friends. I bring you revolutionary greetings from the officials of the African National Congress, duly represented here by Comrade Jesse Duarte, the Deputy Secretary General, and greetings also from the National Executive Committee, duly represented here by members of the NEC. On this day, as you meet, we should also spare a moment to remember Comrade Reggie Vandeya, who passed away and was buried a few days ago. He was, together with Comrade Indris Naidu, who is not well now, amongst those who were the first combatants who got involved in the first actions of MK as they bombed installations around the country. We pay our respects to Comrade Reggie Vandeya because he remained loyal and committed to the African National Congress right to the end of his life. We salute you, comrades, the veterans of our People's Army, the spear of our nation. We recall that Umkhonto Wesizwe was formed at a moment in our history when the legitimate demands of our people were met by brute force from the apartheid regime. For over 3 decades, Umkhonto Wesizwe was at the front line of our people's defense, executing the orders that were given to it by the leadership of our movement. Now the guns have gone silent. The apartheid government has been defeated. Liberty and democracy for all the people of our country has been won. The aims for which our glorious People's Army was formed have largely been achieved. And yet the spirit of Umkhonto Wesizwe lives on. It lives on amongst all of you who are here. It lives on amongst almost 11,900 of our comrades who are still around, who committed their lives to serving our people. We applaud you for that, and we say thank you. The tradition of selfless sacrifice, the deep political consciousness, and the fearless determination of the soldiers of Umkhonto Wesizwe remain. MK was formed in the crucible of struggle. It was led by the gigantic figures of our movement and of our revolution, men and women who placed the interests of their people above their own welfare, their own safety, and their own lives. MK drew into its ranks the fighting youth of our nation as it had to. It was a moment of great pride when, after I was elected Secretary General in 1991, one of the first travels out of the country was to go to our camps in Uganda and Tanzania, and to go and meet our combatants who were still in those countries before they came back. Some of you were there. Some of you were there. I was traveling with Comrade Baleka Mbete, who was then Secretary General of the ANC Women's League, and we toured those 2 countries and went to various camps. This, in many ways, was like a baptism of fire, because it enabled me, and indeed Comrade Baleka Mbete, to perhaps drink from the cup that you all were drinking from, even though it was just literally a cup, but to see and to experience in very short space of time what you had gone through. You honored me by giving me the MK uniform, and I was photographed wearing it, and when I showed it to my children, they said, "You, a soldier? You could never be a soldier." It was a real honor, and I still thank you to this day. I keep that uniform in a very safe place. The young men and women who came into Umkhonto Wesizwe were committed. They were fighting for freedom, for justice and equality, and this had compelled them to leave their homes and families, to journey to places unfamiliar and often inhospitable, and to undertake missions that were as arduous as they were dangerous. You are a cohort of comrades who had decided to dedicate everything, including your own lives. You are in the same ilk as Nelson Mandela and many other gigantic leaders of our movement who, when the hour came, said, "For this, we are prepared to die." You are part of that class. And as a nation, we need to recognize that moment had come for you when you had decided, individually and collectively, that this is an ideal that you were prepared even to lay down your lives for. And as it happened, comrades, many of you did actually fall in battle. And we dip our heads for those who did fall in battle, so that we could all be free. And over the course of a bitter struggle, many died and did not return. To them and to you, we owe our freedom. The spirit of Umkhonto weSizwe lives on in our movement. And it lives on because of you, and we thank you because you are the ones who still carry that spirit. It is deeply embedded in your hearts and indeed in your lives. It is sustained by the selfless actions of the many cadres who continue to serve our people. Many of you continue to serve in different forms. When you first served in exile and even inside the country, you served under very dangerous circumstances. But that danger did not deter you from continuing to serve. And today, you continue to do so. It is sustained, the spirit of MK, by the determination of the South African people never to submit to a number of ills and challenges that we face. And today we face challenges such as poverty, inequality, and injustice. It is sustained by you, the former combatants of Umkhonto weSizwe, because in order to get to where you are, where you were, you took an oath. The MK Military Veterans Association provides a vital link to a proud and courageous past. It is one of the guardians of the history of our revolution. But much more than that, this association is the voice and the instrument of the veterans of our armed struggle. It remains an engaged and vibrant force for social and economic change. It remains a vital part of the African National Congress, ready to marshal its resources, its capabilities, and energies in pursuit of the national democratic revolution. The MK Military Veterans Association derives its existence from our past, yet it is firmly located in the present and deeply focused on the future as well. And we applaud the fact that, comrades, you are part of the MKVA Association. It is an association that is vibrant and that must be strengthened. Yes, it faces its challenges from time to time, but we applaud you because you are in an organized formation over and above being loyal ANC members, and we thank you for that. This National General Council will discuss issues that are crucial for the advancement of the struggle for a better life for all South Africans, an ideal that you were prepared to commit your life to. We have defeated apartheid, but we must still defeat its legacy. That is why our movement's characterization of 1994 is correct, that we achieved a breakthrough. It was a breakthrough. What we still have to do is to finally defeat the legacy of apartheid. There are many of us who think that 1994 indeed was a total, overwhelming victory. It was a breakthrough. And with a breakthrough, as you would know as soldiers, you make sure that you position yourself so that you can get further into the hinterland, because the enemy may still be loitering around. It is almost like we gained a beachhead position. That's what 1994 gave us. We still have a long struggle ahead of us. As our president often says, we still have a long way to go. Today, our enemy, comrades, is poverty. We must overcome inequality, unemployment, disease, ignorance, and many other ills, as well as the poverty that still exists in our country. We must build a new nation that is educated and skilled. We must build a new nation of prosperity, equality, and security for all. We must build a South Africa that belongs to all who live in it, as prescribed in the Freedom Charter. If we are to realize this vision, the vision of the Freedom Charter, we need to place the very activity that will improve the lives of our people right at the center of what we do. And that activity is how we manage the economy and make sure that the economy of our country works to improve the lives of all our people. For the people to share in the country's wealth, we need to make sure that we generate faster growth. The National Development Plan maintains that we need to achieve over 5% annual growth to reach our economic and social objectives. By 2030, our GDP per capita needs to almost have doubled. This means we need to produce more. Sectors of the economy like manufacturing, agriculture, and mining needs to account for a greater share of economic output and employment. We need to add more value to the mineral resources we extract through greater beneficiation, thereby reducing our dependence on the export of raw materials, boosting domestic manufacturing and creating jobs. Through the Industrial Policy Action Plan and the New Growth Path, we are implementing measures to reconfigure the industrial landscape of our country. We are working to achieve greater regional integration and to diversify the range of goods and services that we export. But while faster growth is essential, it is not sufficient. We need to ensure that the benefits of growth are more equitably shared by all our people. To do this, we need to create more jobs, and we need to do so more rapidly. We have to promote and grow industries that are labor intensive, such as mining, agriculture, construction, hospitality, and we need to grow and nurture small businesses and cooperatives that have the ability to create even more jobs, that have the ability to absorb even more people into real meaningful economic activity. We also have to grow the more advanced sectors of the economy, such as manufacturing, financial services, telecommunications, and business services. Business services, yes, such as security and various other aspects of the security sector. We are currently undertaking the largest infrastructure investment program in our history, and indeed in the history of the African continent. There has never been such a huge infrastructure development program that our continent has experienced. It is possible that it only did so when the pyramids were built in Egypt. Now we are building even greater pyramids. We are building even greater infrastructure. And we are very proud that the president of our own country has been given the task to lead the infrastructure development process on the entire African continent. And this is recognition of what we South Africans can achieve. Comrades, we are building dams. It's not many countries in the world that are currently involved in building as many dams as we are building. We are building power stations. The power station that we are building in Medupi is going to be the third largest power station in the world, and it is going to be one of the most modern. We're building roads. We're rolling out roads. It's not only here in Gauteng where there is what do we call this thing of yours, Comrade Paul? E-tolls. We're building roads throughout the country and even in the rural areas. We're building rail lines. We're having installed broadband networks. We're building schools. We're building colleges, and we're building universities. Comrades, this demonstrates progress. What we are doing in building houses and in laying out electricity is something that was even never done under the apartheid regime well over 70, 100 years. This is being done under the leadership of your movement, the African National Congress. And in doing so, comrades, we're expanding our economic capacity, stimulating private investment, developing skills, and creating employment. More effective provision of a broader social wage will enable even the poorest of our people to have a decent standard of living, because what we've also done is to roll out the largest social support system this country has ever seen, in the form of social grants that are given to our people who are in need. And that in many ways has helped to alleviate poverty amongst our people. Public employment programs are also playing a key role in this whole process, as we are exposing many of our people to the world of work, as we're training young people either in internships, in public employment programs, and a whole range of other areas. Even the Rural Development Ministry of our country is involved in training young people in rural areas. Now, this is a really comprehensive transformation program that has been embarked upon by Jacob Zuma's government. Not only do these programs provide income for poor households. They also provide training, as I was saying, and experience that can assist participants in making the transition from the training process to permanent employment. Skills development is at the core of many of the things that we are doing because we want to hasten the process of economic emancipation. Since 1994, we have significantly increased enrollment in schools, universities, and colleges. More than 7 million learners attend no-fee schools. We are working hard to improve the quality of our education outcomes. In the next few years, we will devote more of our education budget on improving school infrastructure, ensuring all learners receive sustainable or suitable learning materials, and improving teacher training. The post-school education system is also being significantly expanded and improved. As we pursue faster and inclusive growth, we will move faster to change the patterns of ownership and of the control of our economy as well. The vision and the objective of having economic emancipation in our lifetime is alive. It is ours, and we are going to pursue it until it is realized. This is what we are going to do. We have recently refined our broad-based black economic empowerment policies to broaden their reach and to deepen their impact as well, so that we get more and more of our people participating in economic activity. We have done much, comrades, to advance the participation of black South Africans and women in the management of our economy. We need to do more in a determined way to ensure that black people do play a critical role in the economy of our country. These are some of the things, comrades, that are going to be discussed at the NGC of the African National Congress. As we look forward to going to the NGC, I raise them deliberately because these are some of the issues that will arise. And MKVA at this NGC needs to grapple with some of these issues. You need to focus your attention on the achievements of our government and movement over the past 2.5 years and give guidance to where it should go in the next 2.5 years. In doing so, this NGC should demonstrate the determination of MKVA to confront the challenges of the moment, the enemies of the present moment, the enemy of the present moment being poverty, inequality, and unemployment. It will reaffirm the view that MKVA is a critical and vital part of addressing the challenges that our country faces today. As we prepare for the ANC's NGC next month, we must ensure that the circumstances of our former combatants remain prominent on our national agenda. The ANC remains committed to ensuring that the benefits and, if you like, the dividend of our democracy does translate into a better life for all the veterans of our struggle and their dependents. That we should ensure. We must make sure that those people who were prepared to even sacrifice their lives, who took steps to leave the country, go into dangerous territories, to be trained and to come back to face the enemy, are people that we put in a very special place in the life of our nation. And you are those people. The ANC NGC next month provides an important opportunity to review the progress we've made in the implementation of the Mangaung resolution on the welfare of military veterans. We commend the important work that is being done by the Department of Military Veterans, together with other departments in the provinces and municipalities. The work that is being done in that department is commendable. And today we had Comrade Paul Mashatile, chair of our province here, also outlining some of the things that our province here in Gauteng is going to be doing, and more importantly, setting up a Veterans Directorate. Now, those are very important initiatives. And as I see them, comrades, I see us increasing the initiatives on an ongoing basis. Increasing them will also happen if you help the African National Congress remain focused, remain committed, and remain on the task to make sure that those comrades, those combatants, those veterans of our movement who were prepared to sacrifice everything are never, ever, ever forgotten. You must help the African National Congress do that. However, comrades, there is still much more that still needs to be done to assist veterans and their families. It is worth remembering what our former President Nelson Mandela said at the Umkhonto weSizwe conference in 1993. He said, "The issue of welfare is not one that can be reduced to the handing out of money for services rendered." I want to read it again. The issue of welfare is not one that can be reduced to the handing out of money for services rendered. The welfare of our combatants and that of our returned exiles in general is directly linked to a commitment on the part of the ANC to recognize the incredible sacrifices and commitment to liberation by generations of our people who found their way into the ranks of the ANC and MK. Those of our people who have been denied the opportunity to lead normal lives by virtue of the commitment to the liberation of our people must be given access to pensions, to health care, to housing, to education, to skills training, and to employment. It is important that this commitment extends even to the families of those who have fallen in the course of our struggle, to the families of those who have been disabled and brutalized by apartheid. End quote. That is what Nelson Mandela said in 1993. We therefore need to ask ourselves whether, as a movement and a country, we have done everything possible to fulfill the commitment that Madiba made over 2 decades ago. That is the question we need to ask ourselves. We trust that this National General Council will develop concrete, feasible proposals that we can all discuss to ensure that the men and the women who sacrificed everything for our liberation live decent and comfortable lives. That's what we should be asking ourselves. And comrades, my own view is that this issue is an issue where there can't be any objection. There can't be any objection, and I would like to see those who would be opposed to it. Because no one can be opposed to a notion and a proposition as rich as put forward by Madiba. No one should be opposed to an idea that says those who sacrifice everything and those who were even prepared to die for all of us to live and to be free must be well cared for, must be well looked after. They must have the best of what South Africa can give them. There should be no opposition to that. So, comrades, the first important step, in my view, was setting up. And this was at your insistence. This was your proposal. Comrade Kirby did say so here, that you got the support of the Mangaung Conference to ensure that we do establish this department. That has been done. They have informed me that they have been at work on issues, because I asked them, I said, what has been happening? We were meant to attend to something, an issue like housing. And they said, yes, we have started. A number of houses are going to be delivered in Lukanji. A number of houses are being built. And this year alone, we hope to build and deliver 2,000 houses for our ex-combatants. Now, that is progress. That is moving forward. But then, more importantly, we need to build more houses. We need to make sure that the pensions are paid out. We need to make sure that what we resolve to do indeed does happen. And your conference here needs to discuss it in the ANC tradition, that where there has been weakness of implementation, we raise the issue, we discuss it, and we come up with solutions. And clearly the solution, one of the key solutions is going to be faster and faster implementation. That is something that we can say that we are committed to and we will want to see done. We trust, comrades, that this will give practical meaning to the call in our Constitution to honor those who have suffered for justice and freedom in our land, and to respect those who have worked hard to build and develop our country. You are a cohort of those who have suffered immensely to get us where we are today. You are a cohort of those who have helped to build our democracy, and therefore you need to be properly treated. You need to ensure that what Madiba had said is realized. Comrades and compatriots, the ANC looks to the MKVA as a force of revolutionary consciousness, as a force of revolutionary behavior and revolutionary discipline. As former combatants, there is no one in the movement who better understands the importance of unity, focus, and discipline. We know that MKVA will continue to speak out against racism, sexism, and intolerance. We know that as MKVA, as you were fighting side by side with all your fellow combatants, as you looked around, you saw South Africa well represented in terms of its racial composition. And today, I would still like you to look around in this conference and to see whether this conference, MKVA, does represent the various strands that make up South Africa. There are quite a number of comrades who you could say are in the minority groups who are not visibly here. And we need to ask ourselves, where are they? We need to go and seek them out and bring them here. I just read 2 names today. I read two names of comrades, Comrade Reggie and Comrade Indris. They were the very first comrades, combatants, who took up arms, who took up bombs to engage in warfare against the apartheid regime. There are many others who followed in their wake. Yes, from our minority communities. Where are they? Let us go and find them, because they belong here. MKVA will be better enriched if they are here amongst us. Let us go and seek them out, so that MKVA should be representative of the true demographics of our country. Just like the African National Congress. Comrades, if the ANC were to have a meeting where it's just Africans only, it should get worried. It should get worried and ask itself, what is happening in our country? Because we are a movement that embraces everyone. We are a movement that belongs to all South Africans. So you yourselves need to ask yourself, Comrade Kebi, as you have your own discussions during this conference, NGC rather, ask yourselves what is happening, where they are. Let's go and fetch them, and let's bring them into the ranks of MKVA. I ask for that. Comrades, we also know that as former combatants, you will fearlessly confront any forces of reaction. You will, without fear, because you are the repository. You are the repository. You are the commissars. You are the army of our people. Yes, you've been demobilized, but politically, you are some of the most advanced in our movement. I would like you to remember that. You are some of the most advanced. When we talk about political education, Comrade Nati, who leads our political process, will tell you that some of the comrades who are able to deliver really good political education are comrades who were in MK. They are comrades who were in MK, well trained. Up to this day, sometimes when we talk, you wear badges. You wear the MK badge, and that is a valuable badge. I don't have that badge. Comrade Paul Mashatile is wearing a blazer with a badge, MK, and I envy him. So I said to Comrade KB, what does one do to get that badge? But you wear a badge, comrade. You wear the badge, and it's a permanent badge for life. You wear the badge of MK, which means that you went beyond just joining the ANC. You got into saying, I'm prepared to die for this struggle. And you even went further and said, I am prepared to commit everything. So with that badge, your political consciousness is at a higher level. And that is why Comrade Nati often relies on many of you. Now with that, comrades, you are the repository of everything that is good about the ANC. In terms of discipline, you are anti-reactionary forces. Any deviant behavior, you would be against. You would be against factionalism in our movement, without any doubt. You would be against the use of money in the electioneering process in our movement. You would be against that. You would be against indiscipline in our movement. You will never countenance indiscipline. When somebody is indisciplined, your blood boils, because that is something that you were not trained in. So you are therefore the repository of all the good values of the African National Congress. And it is to you that we look forward to defend the values of our movement, to stop those who would want to do so, to stop turning the ANC into a stokvel. Stokvel where people bring money. You are the ones who must do so. You cannot countenance activity like that. You are principled. You are as principled as Oliver Tambo, your commander-in-chief, was. You are as principled. You are as principled as Nelson Mandela. You are as principled as all the gigantic leaders that our movement has produced. When we see you, we see them. And so therefore, comrades, we say defend your movement. Let us together root out all these deviant behaviors that are beginning to eat the soul of our movement. The ANC soul must never be destroyed. And you are the ones who will stand up against those who undermine collective leadership of the ANC and those who seek to subvert the will of the people. True to the traditions of MK, you will strive at all times to defend the unity of the African National Congress and our revolutionary alliance. And as we have done before, comrades, we look forward to you guiding the African National Congress, guiding it with debate, with ideas, with convincing and persuading those that you meet in various structures of our movement. As we go to the NGC, we will be looking forward to MKVA playing an important role to ensure that the African National Congress gets out of that NGC with revolutionary decisions that are going to advance the national democratic revolution. We look forward, comrades, to you showing us the way forward of how we can make sure that the ANC remains the ANC of Oliver Tambo, Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Helen Joseph, Albertina Sisulu, and many others. I wish you the very best for your NGC, and thank you very much.
Well,